Hello, young explorers. Welcome back to the news channel. Students, in today's podcast, we will break down the big news stories in ways that make sense for you. And today's we are diving into two important stories that could change things in India. One is about a famous university special status, and the other about India's dream to host the Olympics. So buckle up and get ready to learn about the world in a whole new way. First, let's talk about Aligarh Muslim University, AMU. Have you heard of it? Students, AMU is one of the oldest and most famous universities in India, with students coming from all over the country to study here. And recently, Supreme Court of India made a big decision about this university's status as a minority institution. But before we get into the discussion, let's understand what this all means. ये सब क्या है, right? और एक minority tag क्या है, और इसको जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने रूलिंग दी है वो कैसे रिलेटेड है. Students, now imagine if a group of people who speak the same language or follow the same religion wanted to start a school to pass on their culture, language, or religious practices. In India, the constitution, which is the fundamental law of our land, constitution allows them to do this, and this right is known as minority right. इसे क्या कहते हैं? Minority right. Okay, minority rights. तो अगर कोई एक पर्टिकुलर रिलीजन के लोग हैं, वो अपना एक एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट स्टार्ट करना चाहते हैं ताकि अपना कल्चर, लैंग्वेज और रिलीजियस प्रैक्टिसेस को पास ऑन कर सकें. So it is allowed by the constitution, and this right is called minority rights, and it is given to groups that are smaller than the majority population. This is to help them keep their unique identity alive. तो यानी कि एक उनकी आइडेंटिटी है उसको जिंदा रखने के लिए ये परमिशन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन द्वारा दिया गया है, राइट? Now, the question is, why do you think it might be important for a community to have its own school or college? Think about it for a second. Well, it helps them teach their culture, language, and traditions to future generation, which is super important for keeping these customs alive. Now, when we talk about this particular institution, AMU, जब हम AMU की बात करते हैं, it was founded in the 19th century, right, by Muslims, and which is why it's often called a minority institution. But here's where things get a little complicated. In the year 1967, 1967 में क्या हुआ था? A court decision, yes, a court decision, uh, uh, you know, that said that AMU, that is this particular institution, Aligarh Muslim University, couldn't officially be called a minority institution. That decision was based on a law from way back in the day called S. Aziz Pasha versus Union of India. राइट, तो उस टाइम पे 1967 में ये कहा गया था कि जो अलीगढ़ मुस्लिम यूनिवर्सिटी है उसे माइनॉरिटी इंस्टीट्यूशन का दर्जा नहीं दिया जाएगा. हाउएवर, the university has continued to serve students from the Muslim community and has been seen as a minority institution by many. Fast forward to this year, the Supreme Court decided to re-examine that 1967 ruling. इसी रूलिंग को, इसी वर्डिक्ट को दोबारा से री-एग्जामिन किया गया, एंड a 4 to 3 majority of judges said, hey, If a minority group sets up an institution, they should be able to keep their minority status, even if the government recognizes the institution as an official university. So, AMU is now officially recognized as a minority institution once again. Now, what do you think about that? Should a college or school keep its minority status even if gets government recognition? See, the court's decision is based on Article 31 of the Indian Constitution. And this article gives religious and linguistic minorities the right to establish and run their own educational institutions. So, judges felt that this right is really important for helping minority institutions or minority communities stay strong and keep their cultures alive. Now think of it like this. If you and your friends invented a special game and you would want to have the freedom to make rules for it, right? You wouldn't want someone else to take over and change your game into something completely different. So that's kind of what Article 30 Clause 1 is about. It's about letting communities protect and manage their own school. So the question is, what does this mean for AMU now? AMU का अब क्या है? Well, it means the university can continue to focus on providing education in a way that supports the culture. And this is a big deal because it gives this particular institution the autonomy, or you can say freedom, to make decisions that are best for their students, including things like admission का क्या process होना चाहिए, recruitment of teachers का क्या process होना चाहिए. तो ये सारा कुछ इन्हीं के पास autonomy होगी, freedom होगा decide करने का. Right. So that's the story of AMU's minority status. It's a victory for minority rights, but it also raises interesting questions about how we balance community identity with government rules. So, next time you hear about minority rights, remember it's not just a legal term, it's something that helps people keep their culture and traditions alive. All right. Now, students, अब हम दूसरे न्यूज़ आर्टिकल की बात करते हैं. कौन से न्यूज़ आर्टिकल के बारे में बात करते हैं? इंडिया के बारे में. We have talked about the minority rights and AMU. Now, let's talk about something totally different but just as exciting. It's about India's dream to host the Olympics. Imagine athletes from all over the world coming to India to compete in the Olympics. Sounds exciting, right? Well, India has set its sights on hosting the 2036 Olympics. 2036 Olympics. But here's the thing, hosting the Olympics is a massive responsibility. And it's not just about building stadiums, it's about creating an entire experience for athletes, visitors, and of course, you, the people who are watching from home. So, the Olympics are one of the biggest sporting event in the world. It brings together athletes from almost every country. So, hosting the Olympics is like inviting the entire world to a huge celebration in your country. But with this excitement comes a lot of hard work. So, why? The first question is, why does India want to host the Olympics? For one, it's a way to show the world how much our country has grown. India is a country rich in culture, history, and diversity, and hosting the Olympics would give us a chance to share that with everyone. Plus, it's also a way to inspire young athletes like you to dream big and work hard toward their goals. But here's the challenges. Yes, challenges are there. First of all, hosting the Olympic requires a lot of preparation. First, there's the need for top notch infrastructure. कैसा? जैसे बिल्डिंग हो गया, स्टेडियम हो गया, एथलीट विलेजेस हो गया, ट्रेनिंग फैसिलिटीज एंड ensuring all of these places are easily accessible. Right now, India has some great stadiums, but they might not be enough for the Olympics. So, what do you think would happen if the infrastructure wasn't ready on time? Think about how many athletes and fans would be affected. Exactly. It would be chaos. And to avoid this, India has to plan everything carefully and stick to a timeline. Okay? But that's not the only challenge. India will also need to make sure all these places are clean, organized and safe. इसका मतलब है कि सिर्फ बिल्डिंग बनाना is not going to be sufficient, but also setting up good transport system, accommodation, even considering environmental impacts like climate change. तो ये सारी चीजें ध्यान पे रखना है ना। क्लाइमेट चेंज, अब इस आर्टिकल में कहा गया है कि क्लाइमेट चेंज पर भी ध्यान देना है। अब आप सोच रहे होंगे क्लाइमेट चेंज का क्या रिलेशन है ओलंपिक्स होस्ट करने का। सी, climate change is a big issue, especially with the recent floods we have seen in major cities. And this could impact the Olympics if, say, sudden heavy rains make it difficult for people to get to the venues. So, India would need to plan for things like drainage and emergency management to make sure the games go smoothly, right? Another key point is reputation. Holding the Olympics is a chance to show the world that India can handle such a big event without any issues. A lot of people around the world might be watching, so we would want everything to be perfect. Some experts are saying that India needs a zero tolerance policy on things like kiske regarding zero tolerance for what? For like delays, cleanliness, and safety, and to make sure nothing goes wrong. So, hosting the Olympics is a big dream for India, but it also comes with big challenges. And if India can rise to the occasion, solve these issues, it would be an incredible achievement. And who knows, maybe some of you listening today will be the athletes representing in the year 2036. Wow, we have covered a lot today, from AMU's minority status to India's Olympic dreams. These stories show us that big decisions and big dreams comes with a lot of responsibility. Whether it's protecting community rights or preparing for a world class event, every step matters. So as you go about your day, think about how you can make responsible choices in your own life, just like India is trying to do. All right. So thanks for tuning into today's podcast, and keep thinking big. And remember, you have the power to shape the future. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep learning, and stay curious.